What are the most important elements to a successful t-shirt? Well, actually, there's a lot of things you have to consider. The first being the tags and the keywords, the second being the design, and the third being promotion. And that's exactly what we're going to be talking about in this particular video. We're going to be going over those three things and making sure that you are doing everything you can possibly be doing to get as many sales as you possibly can. And I just want to say, within those three areas, we can go even deeper and explore a whole new range of different ideas in order to get more t-shirt sales. So that's exactly what we're going to be doing in this video. We are going to be looking at those three topics in particular and just talking about them in a bit more detail so that hopefully by the end of this video, you should know exactly how you can maximize the potential to get more t-shirt sales. If you are new here, my name is Shimmy Morris. I create videos all about print on demand, affiliate marketing, business, finance, making money online. And if you haven't seen any of my other videos, please feel free to go check them out on my YouTube channel. And of course, if you haven't already subscribed, please smash that subscribe button so that I can get to 100. It's a lot of zeros, I don't know what I'm doing. 100,000 subscribers. And without further ado, let's just get straight into the video, starting with keywords and tags. Tags or keywords, these are pretty much the same thing, but they are without a doubt one of the most important elements to any successful t-shirt, any successful product, anything at all on the internet, because that is how someone will organically find your design, right? By searching for it with a specific keyword or tag, whatever you want to call them, and then they will stumble across your design. If you have categorized your design correctly using that keyword, then hopefully they will buy your design. Do you see how unbelievably flipping important keywords and tags actually are? Conducting the necessary research is vital for any successful design that you make. In fact, keywords are the backbone of the internet. Whenever anyone needs anything, be it cheap car insurance, the latest iPad, whatever it may be, everything stems from people searching with keywords. If it's one keyword or multiple keywords, whatever it is, but anyone who uses the internet by default will use keywords. Are you seeing now how important keywords are for your business? Now, if you don't have a print on demand business, if you have an affiliate marketing business, keywords are still just as important. And knowing how to leverage keywords, how to use keywords, just how to really manipulate keywords so that you can benefit from them the most. If you know how to do all these things, there is no stopping you. And this is why I'm so passionate about people categorizing their designs using the right keywords so that the right people can find your designs and then buy them. All platforms have different ways of inputting or displaying tags, be it Merch by Amazon, Redbubble, Etsy, it doesn't really matter. They all have options for you to put tags in. And when a platform doesn't have any options for you to put tags in, don't worry, because what else consists of tags? The title, the keywords, bullets. Some platforms allow you to put bullet points in, like on Amazon, right? All those three areas are tags which are searchable on the internet, even words in reviews or questions asked if you're using Amazon, right? All of these different areas, wherever there's words on your page, those are potential tags that people could search for in order to find you. So you want to use as many relevant keywords as you possibly can. And when I say this, I don't mean spam. I don't want you to write the same keyword thousands of times so that you think Google are like, oh, they really use this keyword a lot. I'm gonna search for it now. I'm gonna show this result. No, that's not what I mean at all. You have people who do a lot of tag spamming on Etsy and Redbubble, and it's annoying. It's really, really annoying. So don't become one of those people, right? Use the right keywords that properly describe the thing that you are trying to sell. What you want to do is compile a list of really high-ranking keywords or search terms that you could use within your title description, bullets, keyword tag box area, and you can search for individual words, you can search for phrases. So for example, if you're selling a dog t-shirt, you could use the best dog t-shirt. That itself, that phrase is a phrase that people could search for and stumble across your design. As well as that, you could also just use the phrase dog t-shirt, funny dog t-shirt, all of these different things. But what you want to do is you want to use platforms like the Google Keyword Planner tool and other platforms that will show you the results of particular search terms. That way you can compile a really, really good list of popular keywords and not so popular keywords to get yourself ranking. Now, Really important here. The reason why I say also use not popular keywords or less popular keywords, because think of it like this, right? If you have a t-shirt and you're brand new and you put it on the internet and you use the keyword dog, this is a super popular keyword, right? Chances are the competition is going to be really, really high. And what are the chances of you who've just put your design on the internet, what are the chances of you actually getting ranked for such a popular keyword? Not very high. So what you want to do is you want to use quite a few less popular keywords that will be a lot easier to rank for. And what you'll find is as you start ranking for these less popular keywords and you start getting clicks, you start getting sales, you'll then automatically start ranking for the higher keywords. You know, the keywords that you also put in just so that you could eventually get to them, like the dog keyword or funny dog or dog t-shirt. Those are really, really popular ranking keywords. So you want to start with lower ranking keywords and use those keywords as your foundation to eventually start ranking for the higher ranking keywords. I know it sounds complicated, but it really, really isn't. Okay, the next thing we have to discuss is design. I want to just go over a few different areas here around design. This is not going to be a fully dedicated video on design, but I'm just going to talk about a few things. The first being how detailed a design actually has to be. Having a super cool piece of artwork, masterpiece design on your t-shirt is cool. No doubt there, it's really, really cool, but who is really noticing? That's what you've got to ask yourself. The person who's looking to buy your t-shirt, are they noticing all those subtle things, those shadows and those dots that you've put there and those extra lines you've put there and the shading there and all these different things? Are they noticing all of these artistic things you've put into this design? Or are they just reading the pun that you've put in, or they're just looking at the design as a whole and they're thinking, I want this or I don't want this? So what I'll say is 100%, if you want to design crazy masterpieces, then go for it. But bear in mind, a lot of the people who are buying these shirts aren't really looking for that, and they would be perfectly happy if the shirt literally had a few sentences on it, as long as they were funny or quirky or they stood out for whatever reason. Next thing you want to do is bear in mind who this t-shirt is for. So let's just say you're doing a t-shirt. It could be stickers, it could be hoodies, it could be a shower curtain, it doesn't matter. Let's just say t-shirt. Bear in mind who the design is for. So if it's for a kid, is it for a teen, an adult, a grandpa, a grandma? Like, who is it for? Once you fully realize who your design is for, you'll be able to kind of make the t-shirt with them in mind. And what I mean by that is, you know, you don't want to make a t-shirt that doesn't really fit a grandpa if that's your target market. And by realizing this, what you can do is you can actually turn one design into 3 or even 4 or 5 designs, because you can create that one design and just tweak it slightly for kids. That might mean changing the font so it's more of a kid-friendly font, and then tweak it slightly for adults and then for grandpas. And there's all these little subtle changes that you can do to even a basic design, which will allow you to sell way more of the same design. And also it means you don't have to spend hours and hours and hours thinking up brand new ideas when you can turn one idea into 5 ideas. The next one is humor. The best kind of humor on a t-shirt is always going to be subtle, clever, you know, funny, but not obvious, right? You don't want something tacky or in your face. Sometimes that works, but you know, 9 times out of 10, the design that is going to be much cleverer and more subtle with its humor does really, really well. Also, don't go overboard with your colors. So you want to try and stick to 3 colors. Now, the reason I say 3 is because anything more is unnecessary, and anything less, it could look a bit bland. Now, this doesn't go for the people who are creating those epic masterpieces on t-shirts, you know, with all the different colors, with the shading and the gradients and all these different things. By all means, go for whatever colors you want to go for. But if you're just creating your bog standard t-shirt, really ask yourself, after you've made your whole design, do you need to have more than 3 colors? If you need to have more than 3 colors, then okay, but chances are you don't. Now, this one is really cool. Once I make a design, there's one thing I like to do, which I don't know if people do it. You know, it wouldn't surprise me if they do, it seems quite obvious, but I like to put that design on various different mock-ups. That way I can see, you know, what my design looks like with different age groups, different ethnicities, different genders, all these different things, I can see, does my design suit that person, right? And would that person buy my design, right? If I put the design on and I put it on like a grandpa mock-up and I'm like, no, that's not saying the right, that's not speaking the right thing to me, right? That's not shouting the right vibe. Then I'll change it up. So once I've created a design, I put it on a few different mockups, 5 or 6 mockups. It doesn't take me very long. I use Placeit, which I have a subscription to, which by the way, you can get down below the description. It's 15% off, just if you want it. But either way, you know, this isn't a Placeit video. I use Placeit and it takes me about 5 minutes to put it on all these different mockups. But again, it allows me to see my design from a different perspective, right? It allows me to see what it would look like on an individual, man, woman, child, whatever. And for me, it's really useful because I'm able to look at it and I sit there and I'm like, oh, I need to change that. That is good. I could change that. That can suit that. Okay, brilliant, right? And it just makes it so much better. Okay, next, you want to think about the font you're using. So if you're designing a t-shirt or a sticker, you might want to use a different font. Now, we could go into serious detail with this because there's a whole font theory, there's typography theory, there is so much to be learned here. You know, there's full university courses on typefaces and fonts and all these different things, which I have not done, but I do know how complicated and how much theory there is behind fonts. So you kind of want to think about fonts just a little bit because there are some fonts which will match certain designs, certain colors, certain age groups, certain genders, right? So think about fonts a bit more when you're using them and don't just think, oh, that font, Impact, it looks good, I'm going to slap it on this design and I'm going to start selling it. No. Really, really think about your font, do research, see what other people have done, see what's working, see what's not working, and try and get that right font. And sometimes you might need to take a font and actually, you know, change it up, make it a bit more grunge or whatever you want to do. You can edit it yourself. Now, a great place to get fonts would be the Google Font Library. Most of them, I think they're all free actually, not most of them. They are free and they're all allowed to be used. As well as that, I use Creative Fabrica to get my fonts. I pay for those. They're very, very cheap and without a doubt, they are well worth the money because they are really, really high class fonts. Think about all these different things when you are creating your t-shirts and you will find that you are creating far better t-shirts. Now, does far better t-shirts guarantee sales? No, it does not. Sometimes the worst of the worst t-shirts actually end up selling the best and it's the most infuriating thing ever. But it will definitely increase your chances of getting more sales just because as soon as you increase your level of design and all of that, people will start resonating with it more. And the same goes for anything, right? For example, with YouTube, as soon as I know this, as soon as I create a really high quality video that's taken me weeks and weeks and weeks, it always does far better than the video that's taken me 12 or 13 hours, right? It always does. Anything that you put a lot more effort into and you make a lot better, you should see a much better reward from it. So hopefully all these different ideas will help you design a better t-shirt. And lastly, just with the design element of this video, and then we're going to go on to promotion, I want to say one thing you should be doing after you've designed it, after you've looked at the mock-ups, after you've got your final design, send it to a couple of family members, send it to a couple of friends and get their opinion on it, because having new eyeballs have a look at your design will change everything. They might see something that you didn't see, and it's really important to get other people's perspectives, especially as you are trying to sell it to other people. You are not buying this yourself, so it doesn't matter if you like it, you need other people to like it. So getting other people's opinion is always really, really valuable. Okay, let's now talk about promotion, the third and final element of this video. Promotion is so much more important than people actually realize, and a lot of the time you'll find that someone will create a design and then upload it to Etsy or upload it to Amazon and then just leave it because of the amount of organic traffic that those websites come with. And if this is you, don't be upset, it's totally normal and I've done it before. But I want to tell you that if you do want to break the boundaries here and get even more sales or just break away from the norm, you want to start promoting your designs and not just rely on websites' own traffic, be it Redbubble, Etsy, Amazon, any of them really, any of them at all, because simply it's just not enough. And a design that is doing really well is a design that's being promoted on tons of different print-on-demand platforms, on tons of different social networks, on tons of different places. It's the one that's getting spoken about offline and online. All right, that's what you want. So don't upload and leave. Have a marketing plan in place. When you upload a t-shirt, have a couple of Instagram posts ready to go, have a couple of TikTok videos ready to go, maybe YouTube videos, maybe a collaboration that you're working on, have that ready to go just as you upload, right? Have all these different elements ready, maybe an email list, email out. There are so many different options here that you can do, that you want to do when you upload a t-shirt. And I do have plenty of videos that go into a lot more detail about marketing. As well as that, I've got a lot more videos coming out in the future about marketing. Create that Google ad and Etsy ad. And if you're eligible and you're selling on Amazon merch, create that Amazon ad, because they can be really, really valuable. And once you're doing all these different things and you're testing out all these different ideas, when one starts to work, because again, nothing is guaranteed, right? Everything needs testing. But when one starts to work, double down on it. Take it and really see why it's working, and then invest more money into it or invest more time into it. If it's an Instagram post that's taken off, right? Create similar type of posts with similar hashtags, with similar description, and really blow it up as much as you possibly can. Because at the end of the day, you could be the next genius. You can come up with the next brilliant idea, but if no one knows about it, then nothing's going to happen with it, right? You want people to know about it. And those are the 3 key areas when it comes to creating a successful t-shirt. And I want to say, just before I end, there are 2 main types of t-shirts. You've got evergreen and you've got trendy. Now, I do want to make a video more on this in particular, but just to quickly go over it briefly. When you're creating designs with evergreens are ones that are going to make you money for the long run. They are going to be the backbone of your business, and they are going to be stable sources of income, hopefully. With trendy t-shirts, right, they're going to be like quick lumps of money just coming in, right? They're not going to be, you know, long lasting. Sometimes though, trending can turn into evergreen, but we're not talking about that. Now, a lot of people will say, don't do evergreen, or don't do trendy, don't do this, don't do that. Quite frankly, this is what I think. I think, you know, you should do evergreen. That should be your main source. That should be the main thing you do, because again, that is the backbone of your print-on-demand business. But as well as that, every so often you should do trendy, and you can use your trendy designs to figure out evergreen, and vice versa, and they can work hand in hand. And the nice thing about trendy is trendy designs, providing you do them well and you actually get sales, they can bring in a lump sum of money quickly over the period of a weekend or a week or maybe even a month. And it's just nice to have that large influx of money coming in at the same time that you're going to have the money coming in from your evergreen designs. And that's why I like a healthy mix of both. So think of it like, for every 5 evergreen designs, just do 1 trendy design, and that could be a good, you know, rule of thumb. Now again, I do want to create much more detailed video about evergreen and trendy, and maybe a verses and all these different things, and I will do that in the near future. But I just wanted to say, those are my key areas when it comes to designing t-shirts, stickers, shower curtains, pillows, whatever it may be, anything for print on demand. And I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you liked this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you did. And finally, let me know in the comments down below which thing you consider to be the most important when you are designing your t-shirt. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.